That's the only way I can do it, is that big. And even that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm like you from a distance, like with the video.
No, Justin and I did it. He said it was fine.
meant to
And then,
be.
but I
Like, it's just
lifted it
part
up.
of
This
it.
was the only thing we could find that would lift it. Okay. Well, and then can you guys use this? Or because I can't move the whole thing. I can. I swear, I'm
I
gonna
brought my cats with me.
I got this is mine. I'm not gonna have any hair by the time I'm 65. Do you think it'll be okay like this?
I really do. And those of us with paper, we'll just hold it. We'll just hold it right here.
See, I've got family land over there too. And they'll down Larkin Road. And that's where my his land got divided among the kids, but it's
Yes. Phyllis.
Bellevue a lot of times. That's where my cousin has three kids was in Bellevue. So I've been there many times for some of her family.
Good afternoon. Life is not a race, but it is indeed a journey. And today we are gathered here, not in the shadow of loss, but in the bright glow of a life that touched each of us deeply, the life of Colleen Kae Stephenson. This is a moment to celebrate her story, a story filled with laughter, determination, adventure, and generosity, and the kind of warmth that stays with you long after the conversation ends. Our hearts may feel the ache of missing her, but they also have the joy of having been a part of this extraordinary journey we called her life. A celebration of life is exactly that. It's an opportunity to lift up the memories that make us smile, to honor the spirit that shaped us, and to let gratitude rise above grief. Today we remember not just the life that ended, but a life that was beautifully and vibrantly lived. As we move through this service, I hope that we laugh, reflect, share stories, and maybe shed a tear if we need to, and embrace the joy of every moment we were given. Remember that tears are just memories in motion. I want to thank you all for being here to celebrate Colleen. My name is Heather Marsalis, and I hope that the time that we are together today will be of remembrance and joyful reflection. We are gathered here today because this is what people do. Since the beginning of time, people have gathered when someone they love completes their journey. Not out of sadness alone, but to celebrate a life, to recognize its impact, and to share the stories that keep a person's spirit alive. Today is no different. We're here because Colleen mattered deeply to each of you. And when someone so special touches so many lives, coming together isn't just a tradition, it's a gift. A chance to remember, to laugh, to swap stories, and to feel the strength of community. We're here to honor those who were central to Colleen's life, her husband Bill, her sisters Darcy and husband Joseph, and Doreen and husband Bill, her brother Steve and his wife Marcia, her sister-in-law Callie, along with her many nieces and nephews and treasured friends. And I like to imagine that Colleen has been excitedly greeted by those that went before her, her parents, her sister Joanne, her brother Glenn, her mother-in-law Mary, her brother-in-law Hugh, and welcomed with the same warmth that she offered everyone else. So we gather today not because life has stopped, but because love continues. Today is Colleen's day. She was never happier than when she was surrounded by her family and friends. And if she were here with us this afternoon, I can just imagine her looking around this room, taking in every familiar face, and saying, "Cool beans." And of course, the very next thing she'd want is a picture of everyone. And she'd be right there photobombing from behind, making sure no one took themselves too seriously. So what I want to do in her honor is exactly that. I want to take a picture of everyone here today, a snapshot of the people that she loved gathered in her spirit. All right, guys, are you ready? I'm going to try to get as many of you as I can. Would she not be doing this?
Yes.
Okay. All right, 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to do another one. All right. Before we move further into the service for this celebration of Colleen's life, we're going to share a song. It's a song that held deep meaning for her. It's John Lennon's Imagine. Colleen loved everything this song stood for, and just a point of privilege, so do I. It's a world filled with compassion, unity, kindness, and hope. She lived her life acting out what she believed, that small acts of generosity and understanding can ripple outward and just make life a little softer, a little brighter. In her own way, Colleen spent her life quietly building the kind of world this song dreams of. She created community, lifting others, giving freely of her talents, and spreading joy and much laughter wherever she went. As you listen to this song, I invite you to think not only of the lyrics, but of Colleen herself. The story is more than a medley today, or a melody today. It's a reflection of her heart.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, or brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
As a celebrant, I've learned over the years that the poem the family chooses for a memorial folder often reveals something deeply true about their loved one. It captures their spirit, a value, a way of living that words alone can barely contain. The poem the family chooses today does exactly that, and it's going to shape today the way we honor Colleen's life together. The very first line reads, "Life is not a race, but indeed a journey." It's a truth that speaks to all of us. And while that line reminds us to take each day as it comes, I'm also reminded of a quote by Hunter S. Thompson, one that captures the bold, wholehearted way that Colleen lived her journey. He wrote that life should not be a journey to the grave, with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow, what a ride." In many ways, that spirit captures Colleen's story. The next line is, be honest, work hard, and choose wisely. These aren't just words from a poem, though. They are the very foundation of who Colleen was. She lived them every single day, in every commitment she made, and in every relationship she cherished. And no one knows that better than her family. At this time, I'd like to invite Colleen's sister, Darcy, to come forward and share her memories of her amazing sister.
It's gonna be a hard act to follow. She's good. Interesting enough, Colleen called me one day and asked me to come out to the house and help her write her eulogy. How many of us get that opportunity? You know, sometimes they're gone before you know it. But for Colleen to be able to leave some words specifically for you guys is really special. So Colleen says, when I think of family, friends, and acquaintances, I kind of think of them in this order. Mom and Dad. Dad was the jokester of the family. Anybody that knew Dad? Yeah. He loved to joke, play, and explore. Mom was always serious, and if you needed it fixed, go see Mom. Joanne was the artist and the creator. Glenn was our greaser, through and through. Then come along Steve. Out went the wingtip shoes, and in came the sandals and peace, because he was our flower child. Dad's baby girl, Darcy, came along, and she was the athlete and gymnast in the family. Doreen was quiet and shy and just stayed in the background, and still does. And then there was me, Colleen. I'll just leave it up to each of you what to think. After moving to Arkansas, I made very many good friends, friendships that lasted throughout all the years. I have no regrets whatsoever with my classmates and my lifelong friends. So many good friends like Chuck and Judy, Jody, Donna, David and Becky, Jess and Diana, Sam and Phyllis, Ann and Neil, and so many others that I can't even begin to list them all. Every single one of you are different and have your own quirks, and that's what I loved about you. After graduating with the class of '73, it was time to get to work, and I started working at Baxter Lab. I lasted 9 months in production and absolutely couldn't stand it. So I transferred to the warehouse as material handler. I don't know how many of you know this. This isn't from Colleen, it's from me. She was a forklift driver. Can you imagine back in that day? Whoa, you know? Anyway, she stayed there until '84 when Bill and I got married. I knew I'd met my true soulmate right from the start. We established White River Pottery, purchased our home, retired in '95, and started traveling, and our life was good. Now, for the rest of the story, this is from me, not Colleen. Throughout childhood, Colleen always felt like she was being left out of everything because she was the baby of the family. She thought the big kids didn't want her or the little baby around. The six-pack plus all the cousins equaled 15 of us. And we were all within a few years of each other and raised together until we moved to Arkansas. According to Dr. Google, there is no such medical term as baby of the family syndrome or youngest child syndrome. But once the folks went through 5 kids, raised them, and by the time it got to Colleen, she had it made. First of all, she got away with everything. She got away with more stuff because the folks were less strict. Dr. Google says she likely learned social skills by observing us older siblings and our friends. She could have developed charm, or rather manipulative tactics, to get her way because she learned strategies from us older siblings. The baby of the family is sometimes risk-taking, rebellious, free-spirited, and very ambitious as they try to outdo their older siblings. That explains a lot. Don't take my word for it. Like I said, all of this came from Dr. Google. All kidding aside, it's easy to understand why Colleen was so ambitious, driven, charming, and generous. She was true to her family and friends and will be terribly missed. Now this, I'm reading for Doreen, because just like Colleen said, she stays in the background, quiet and shy. This is from Doreen as a favor from her big sister, and as she reminded me recently, the matriarch of the family. Boy, does that make me feel old. Man. Anyway, I lost my place. Before I quote her, I do want to say this. Doreen and Colleen has always had a special bond for their entire lives. When Colleen got worse this past few months, Doreen was the one there to caretake her, take care of her day in and day out. She took care of almost everything and was the perfect person to be the one there with her. Thank you for that. Doreen's words are few. Colleen was not only my sister, but she was also my best friend, my confidant, and back in our teen years, my partner in crime. There are secrets that will forever remain secrets. So, anyway, that's it. Doreen, just like Colleen said, Doreen's quiet, shy, and stays in the background. She knew her sister well. So, there's one final thing Colleen wanted me to share with you. She said anybody that knows Bill knows he always has a stash of cookies in the house. So all Colleen has heard for the past many months, several months, from Bill is, watch out for those Sheley girls, they will steal your cookies.
I think you did a pretty good job, Darcy. Few attributes are more meaningful than the simple, generous habit of telling others, thank you and I love you. These small phrases can not only change a day, but they can actually sometimes change a life. Colleen had a gift for making sure that others felt appreciated. She encouraged, she supported, she uplifted the people around her. She practiced gratitude in everyday moments, and she lived with an open and giving heart. Go to church, take time to prayer. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. These lines in the poem come from a pretty traditional spiritual place, but the deeper message is one that Colleen lived every day. That life is a journey, that kindness does matter, that gratitude is powerful, that laughter heals, and that the people we walk beside are our life's greatest blessings. So we read these words, not because Colleen followed every line literally, but because the spirit of the poem reflects the way she approached the world, with purpose and generosity and humor and deep appreciation for the beautiful moments that make a life whole. For Colleen, it was the relationships she cherished, the old ones, the new ones, the lifelong ones that made her whole. Colleen wasn't just from Mountain Home. She was of Mountain Home. She built friendships here in high school that lasted a lifetime. Those same people that she had sat by in class and hung out with on the weekends were still part of her world decades later. She treasured those friendships. They were the kind that picked up right where they left off, no matter how much time had passed. And knowing she had people who had walked with her from those early days all the way through her final chapter brought her tremendous joy. I'm going to now ask several of her friends throughout her life to come forward and talk. And Judy and Ann, you get to decide who goes first. Judy, do you want to come first since you're the closest to the front? Judy Shinsky is going to come forward. Oh, I'm sorry, Judy. That's okay. I apologize. I apologize.
It doesn't make a lick of difference. I know who Ann is, and she wouldn't care.
She's next.
She don't matter. I was going to base my story on whatever the pictures were that was put in, but I didn't get to see them because I was busy yapping as I always do.
Oh, can you guys put the pictures back down and play them while we're here, please? I'm sorry, I thought that had been, I didn't even notice they were up.
And Matt didn't get to see him either. See, you get to see him now, Matt.
Because I was yapping with you.
Exactly. Exactly. But I just wanted y'all to know, when I met Colleen, we were in high school together. We both smoked cigarettes, and so we always would go out and smoke. We smoked in the bathroom. We smoked about any old way we could. We were good kids. And she ran around with Nancy Jackson's little sister, Peggy Jackson, all the time. And Colleen was a year younger in school than I, but a year older than I am. And I always told her that. So she didn't drive during those days. And I would go out to Promised Land and pick her up and take her home. Now, I know, Darcy, you think she was pretty, could do anything. Let me tell you, your dad came out every time I came back with Colleen, if it was dark, to see if there was any boys in the car. So, she didn't have it as easy as you think, as far as, I called them Mr. and Mrs. Sheley. I didn't call them Garth and Clara. And she wasn't allowed to go out with Chuck. When she was in school, she had Chuck's name all over her notebook. I love Chuck, I love Chuck. Heck, I didn't know who he was, but she did. And we were going to secretly, I picked her up, she was coming to my house, spending the night, she was going to go out with Chuck. She chickened out. So she's like, you got to go out with him. I'm like, I am not going out with him. I don't even know him. Well, of course, I did what Colleen said, so I went out with him. So the joke was that I would tell her dad and mom, you still got him because he married me. Might not have married Colleen, but he married me, so you still got him. And then Colleen would tell Chuck, and of course Bill knows this very much, she'd say, don't worry, Chuck, if she gets mad at you and kicks you out, you just come to our house. And that was their standard thing they did all my life. And Colleen, there was some bears that was all over Bill and Colleen. And during the Meet the Makers back then, Bill and Colleen would have all these people that were all these arts and crafts people, wonderful. That's how I met half of the people here. Beautiful work, and I have some earrings on that came from there during that time period. I have a necklace that weighs nothing that Colleen and Bill gave me. I have jewelry that I got in Jamaica when I was with Colleen and Bill, and Diana and Jess. We'll not leave them out. So you can have them still close to you all the time. Because look at all the things. Look at where we are. Colleen loves everybody. She doesn't tell you all the time, but she did the last year. But she always has loved everybody. And she would do anything for anyone. And you just have to ask her. Because she ain't just going to come right out and do it, because she don't know. She's not going to invade upon you. She's going to expect you to ask. And there she is when she's young. I didn't know her in 69. I knew her in 7. Well, maybe I did know her in 69. I changed my mind. And I'll go back. That's all I got to say. And we love you.
Thank you, Judy. Ann, do you want to come forward now and speak about Ann Grice?
Well, Ann's way back there.
I know. You couldn't hear her? No. Yeah, here, just move it.
Okay. Well, we all know that Colleen was artsy crafty. And I just want to show you a couple things that Neil and I, in the spring and the fall, we would go motorcycle for a couple of weeks. We'd go out west. And then we'd come home, and one year we pulled into the driveway and this was in our garden. There were about 4 or 5 of them. Now, this was the cheap one. This was only $89, on sale for $1.99. And then one other time, we came back in the fall and pulled into the driveway, and Neil had this big vegetable garden. And he goes, "What?" And there were all of these tomatoes hanging off the tomato vines. And he said, "I wonder who could have done that." So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, because the two of them were always doing this crazy stuff together. I mean, really crazy stuff. And right now, she suffered these last months, and now she's free. She's happy. She can breathe. She can do what she wants to do, and she knows she's up there, artsy crafty.
So do you think this is a peony? Her favorite flower was a peony, so
Oh, well, that could be.
that could be. We all know that Colleen also knew the importance of romantic love in her life and the soulmate that came into her world almost 50 years ago. The next song we're going to play is a reflection of her feelings about Bill, or maybe his feelings about her. Colleen had a wonderfully fun, playful side, and especially when it came to Bill. And anyone who knew the two of them knows their relationship wasn't just built on love, but on laughter, teasing, and a lifetime of inside jokes. They really were a true team in every sense of the world. Whether they were traveling, riding motorcycles with friends, or running a business side by side. One of the songs that always made Colleen smile was the song Hush by Deep Purple. And Bill shared that whenever it played, it just brought out a little spark in her, one of those memories that belonged to just the two of them. Now, Bill may claim very dramatically that Colleen was far more in love with him than he ever was with her. But we all know that that was his just way of his attempt at deflecting the truth. But it was true that their love ran deep. It was mutual, and it was full of a kind of understanding that only soulmates can share. So as we listen to this song, let's remember that side of Colleen, the spirited, joyful, affectionate woman who loved a good beat and a good laugh, and the man she shared 49 years of life with.
I got a certain little girl, she's on my mind. No doubt about it, she looks so fine. She's the best girl that I ever had. Sometimes she's gonna make me feel so bad. Thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush. She broke my heart, but I love her just the same now. Hush, hush. I thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush. I need her loving and I'm not to blame now. She got her early in the morning. She got her late in the evening. Oh, well, I want and need it. Oh, I gotta have it. She got loving like quicksand. Only it took one touch of her hand. Blow my mind and I'm in so deep that I can't eat y'all and I can't sleep. But I love it just the same now. Hush, hush. Thought I heard her calling my name now. Hush, hush. I need the loving and I'm not to blame now. You got her early in the morning. You got her late in the evening. Oh, that need it. Hey, I gotta have it.
So I don't know, Elton and Mary, do you think that's the first time that song has ever been played in this chapel?
Heather, can I say something?
Yes.
You know, none of us Sheley girls can sing worth a hoot, but Colleen would be jamming to that song. She'd be singing in that low, gravelly voice of hers, and I'd be off key, and Doreen would be off key, but man, when she belted that song. Yeah. Yeah.
I asked Bill if I could cut it down, but he was like, nope, we got to play the whole thing. So Let your handshake mean more than pen and paper, is one of the next lines in the poem. And this line describes Colleen perfectly. Those who knew her will tell you this without hesitation. Her promises meant something. Her handshake was a commitment. Her word was solid, it was dependable, it was unwavering. When Colleen said she would do something, she did it, and she did it with excellence. Giving 150% wasn't an exception for her. It was simply the way she moved through the world. She learned this from a strong foundation from her family. As Darcy said, growing up with a hardworking mother and driven siblings, Colleen absorbed the importance of dedication, of follow-through, and doing every task with purpose. There were no half measures in her life, only wholehearted effort and genuine commitment, and that carried into everything she touched, whether she was weaving baskets, running whitewater pottery with Bill, leading committees for BPW, the Organization of Business and Professional Women, chairing the omelet brunch with her nickname Sarge, creating art for community events, or donating her time, her talents, or her famous baked goods. She showed up fully. She gave generously. She cared, and she stood behind her word. This is one of just many gifts she leaves. But I'm now going to ask B. Lewis and Cindy Isabel if they could come up and share. Cindy, would you come first, please?
Yeah, we called her popcorn. She had that popcorn, caramel popcorn. We called it crack. It was good.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was good stuff. I had to write down stuff because I thought I won't remember. I'll get up here and freeze. You know how you do. I met her when I joined BPW about 24 years ago. Can't believe it. And I was going to say we always called her Charge because we were always just a little afraid of her. just a little bit. Tink and I both. And we went on many trips together, and dare I say some escapades. Some stories I can tell, and some stories I shall not, because I'm sure she would haunt me. Some of you may know those stories. But early on, I knew I was going to love Bill and Colleen. We had been to a BPW conference down in Little Rock, and we stopped in Conway, and Bill was down that way, so he met us. You may not remember this, at a Mexican restaurant there right off the interstate coming up 65. And I knew I was going to really like them when she had to go to the bathroom. We were in a booth, and she was sitting in the inside, and Bill reluctantly let her out. Here in a little while, she come back. He, however, was not going to let her back in. And this is the first time I've been with them, remind, you know. And I saw her sit down on the edge of that seat and push with both legs and force her way into that booth. And I always thought, oh, I like these people. They are been together that long and still can laugh and joke and be silly and love each other. I love that. That's healthy. We made lots of trips together, as I said. We went to Conway, Little Rock, and Hot Springs, Florida a couple times, Alabama, to go to the beach, that was. Cleveland, Ohio. Those are the stories we shall not tell. Buffalo, New York, Niagara, and Canada. Even ate in that tower rotunda across from the falls there. Ate at the restaurant there. It was a lot of fun. We even rode one of those balloons out over the falls, and it was so awesome. Maybe not for Debbie. Debbie didn't like that so much. One I can tell is because I was a doofus. I thought I needed a printer that would do 11 by 17 paper. Well, back in the early 2000s, they were like $3,000. I didn't need one that bad. And even used, they were $1,500. I said, I don't need one that bad. Found one on eBay, started bidding on it. Oh, I stayed right on it. Won it, about $350. It was awesome. Then I read the fine print. And it said pickup only. And I thought, oh, please don't be in New York City. Please don't be in Los Angeles, you know. Luckily it was in Dallas, just in Dallas, Texas. I thought, okay, we can deal with this. And after calling lots of people, nobody was going to Dallas. So I called Colleen. I said, what you doing? Nothing. I said, you have any plans on this weekend? She says, I don't know, why? I said, well, how'd you like to go to Dallas? And she goes, when? I said, when can you be ready? And she said, well, let me check with Bill. And so she checked with Bill, and he says, no, I got anything. So she said, I'd be ready in an hour. Went and picked her up, and off we went to Dallas. We got all the way to Melbourne before we got hungry. And it took us, it was midnight after when we got there. It was a lot of fun. I will never forget that, because she was a friend you could take off with. She'd help you anytime she could and would. And I hear the testament of that over and over. I can't imagine, Bill, how much you're going to miss her. We all will miss her. Sense of humor, her genuine friendship, generosity, and authentic. That's the big word that I wanted to say about her. She was authentic. There wasn't nothing fake about her. And that's what I loved about Colleen. I don't know if B was going to read this or not, but I'm going to read it. It's a poem. It's our colic from BPW. Keep us, O God, from pettiness. Let us be large in thought and word and deed. Let us be done with fault finding and leave off self-seeking. May we put away all pretense and meet each other face to face without self-pity and without prejudice. May we never be hasty in judgment and always generous. Let us take time for all things. Make us to grow calm, serene, and gentle. Teach us to put into action our better impulses, straightforward and unafraid. Grant that we may realize it is the little things that create differences, that in the big things of life, we are at one. And may we strive to touch and to know the great common human heart of us all. And, O Lord God, let us not forget to be kind. I'll miss you, Colleen. I loved you. Thank you, Pam.
B. Just pull that mic down. There you go.
Colleen and I have been friends for many years. She and I, through the Mountain Home Business and Professional Women's Organization, worked together on many projects, went to many programs locally, state, and nationally. On these trips, had many adventures, good and sometimes not so good. If I told all of our ventures we were involved in, we would be here for a week. As most of you know, she was highly intelligent, very talented, caring, loving wife, and animal lover. She was also good at coming up with ideas to raise money for our local BBW to fund our scholarships and other projects that we would provide in the community. One of the things she came up with, we ended up wearing baby clothes to one of our state meetings with a state officer who was running for governor as a guest speaker. Luckily, we didn't have to wear diapers. The speaker thought we were great, and we didn't have to wear this attire all day. At one of our meetings being held in Jonesboro, our state president's theme was Nellie's Diner. I was dressed as a biker chick, and she and another member who's here today were outfitted as ladies of the night. She had to go to her room for something, and on her way back, she ran into several men. She took off at a fast clip and told them, "I'm going to a costume party, I swear." I don't think she stuck around to see their reaction. One of our fundraisers we held each year was our omelet brunch. This went on for 39 years. Guess who was our leader? Of course, it was Colleen, with the help of Lori Crumpley. All members who could would help with the preparation. She would have us come to her home, feed us, and then we would get to work. She became the Sarge, and if she needed something done and she assigned you a task, you needed to do it. It was a lot of work keeping up with all the food, getting the equipment that we needed out of the storage for us to work with, and then putting back when it was over. Colleen, we will miss you. Love, B.
Thank you, B. Well, the next line is perfect. Love your life and what you've been given. And Colleen obviously embraced that fully. She used every artistic gift that she had, painting signs and posters, creating character cutouts, making jewelry, painting wine glasses, baking some of the best desserts around. She donated her art and her goods generously for fundraisers and benefits and community events, always giving more than expected. She was so talented in her art that the city of Hot Springs wanted to hire her to do projects for them. If there was a cowboy theme, Colleen had built a life-size character of a cowboy to grace the venue. She'd make art that covered entire walls and Halloween costumes that you've seen that were beyond clever. She loved reading and playing tennis, traveling and cooking, and she and Bill raised many beloved Airedales throughout the year. I did do a little research. Airedales are known as the king of terriers. They're spirited, they're smart, they're full of personality, they're wonderfully loyal, fiercely devoted, sometimes a little stubborn, which made them the perfect match for Colleen and Bill. Strong-willed, energetic companions who kept life interesting. Obviously those characteristics do remind you of some people in this room. If you ask Colleen to say where she and Bill traveled, besides countless motorcycle trips with friends, they would most likely be warm weather destinations. According to Bill, Colleen did not do cold. She didn't do ice. She didn't do snow. The two traveled to Belize often in the winter months due to Bill's frugal nature, $275 flights. Colleen's life was colorful, creative, and she didn't just love life, but she celebrated it. Dreaming does matter. Laugh often. Colleen believed in dreaming big and living with joy. Her humor, her uplifting energy, and her personality left lasting impressions on the people around her, obviously. Whether she was traveling with Bill, working on a new art project, or participating in a community event, she brought all that enthusiasm and laughter into every space she entered. The song Take the Long Way Home beautifully captures the spirit of Colleen's last year, a year in which she knew her time on this earth was drawing to a close. Yet she refused to let that knowledge dim her light. And instead of retreating into fear, Colleen chose a different path. She chose the long way home, supported by Bill, friends and family, especially Doreen, who took care of her this last year. Every morning, no matter how much her body struggled, Colleen got up, she got dressed, and she stepped into the day with intention. She welcomed friends, she shared stories, and she surrounded herself with their laughter, their warmth, and she wanted unwavering positivity. She insisted on joy. She insisted on connection. And she insisted that everyone around her do the same thing. In her presence in that house, there was no room for darkness, no room for pity, no lingering sadness allowed. Only happy thoughts, cherished memories, and moments that made her feel alive. Take the Long Way Home became a theme for her, and it was a reminder to savor this journey, to notice the beauty in each small moment, and to stretch the day a little bit longer so she could fill it with the people that she loved. It reflected her courage, her stubborn optimism, and her quiet determination to live, not simply until the end, but fully right up to the final day. In playing this song, we're honoring Colleen's way of meeting life. She's going to take the long, scenic, joy-filled route. Right alongside her, we're going to do it.
So you think
We're getting to the end of the poem, and I promise we're getting almost to the end of the service. Forgive. It frees the soul. Colleen understood the true value of compassion, both toward others and toward oneself. She believed in giving people grace. That kindness is the central part of the legacy she leaves behind, and one that continues to touch all of us. Now, I am going to tell you something, that there are probably a few people in this room who might want to breathe a quiet sigh of relief. A few weeks before Colleen passed, she confided in her brother that she was going to use this service to settle the score. Now, keep in mind, Colleen lived in Mountain Home her whole life. And she graduated from Mountain High School in 1973, and she was very involved in this community. And between family and acquaintances, I'm guessing there's a few people in this room that would have been on that list. Well, in the end, you can all relax. Colleen's version of justice was always tempered with humor and with love. And today's about celebration, not about confrontation. But you all know who you are. Recognize the special people you've been blessed to know, and we've done that today. Colleen recognized her blessings, and none were more important than all of you. Left to cherish her memory are her family and the countless friends, co-workers, fellow volunteers, customers at White River Pottery. They will forever hold her spirit, her wit, and her boundless love in their hearts. And then live today. Enjoy the moment. Colleen lived these words every day. As we remember her today, may we also honor her by striving to live as she did. Let's take a quiet moment just to reflect on what Colleen meant to all of us. So before we leave, I'm going to share with all of you, the community, how you can support your friends, Colleen's family, and those that were closest to her in their grief. And it's something that the grief expert, Doug Manning, who's a friend of mine, he just passed away, he calls them the 3 H's. Hang around, hug 'em, and hush. That's the secret. Hang around. It means so much that you're here today. If you have ever lost a loved one, you know what it means that your friends come to support with you and to share with you. When it becomes even more important, though, is around 3 weeks from now, when the rest of the world is getting back to normal and moving on, but your friends are adjusting to a new life without Colleen. Hang around. Hug 'em. This one's pretty self-explanatory. The author Leo Buscaglia said that everybody needs a hug. It changes your metabolism. Hugs can express love that we have no words for. So hug 'em. And now comes the tough one. It's to hush. When it comes to the question of what words you need to say, the answer is there really aren't any words you can say. The point is she's just not here, and learning to live without her is what hurts. So words won't change that. The hurt will always be present. The task ahead is to learn to live with that hurt. So don't try to explain. Don't offer up cliches. Just be there. Be there to listen. And when you do talk, do not be afraid to say Colleen's name. Don't worry about causing them pain by reminding them of her. I promise, believe me, they will be thinking of her every moment of every day. But when you say her name, you let them know it's okay. It's okay to talk about her with you and even shed a tear. So hang around, hug 'em, and hush. And as you leave today, in the back, there'll be a small bag of cool beans. I want you to take these as a keepsake of Colleen. I want you to let them remind you to imagine a better world, to hush and know the beauty around you, to slow down, savor life, to take the long road home. So I want you to maybe eat one and think of a meal you shared with her. Maybe place one somewhere that holds a happy memory, a spot where you laughed together, talked, or simply enjoyed each other's company. Maybe one of those escapades that you all talked about that you went on. Or maybe keep one out as a bright little reminder of her spirit in your life. And I'll be honest, I kind of like the idea of mountain home sprinkled with jelly beans all over in honor of Colleen. It feels like exactly something she would smile about. So let's close with a blessing, please. May the memory of Colleen's love guide us. May the creativity she shared continue to inspire us. May the dedication she lived by encourage us. May the laughter she sparked remind us to find joy in those everyday moments. And may the kindness she offered freely move us to treat others with gentleness. May her legacy live on in the choices we make, the lives we touch, and the moments we pause to appreciate. May peace surround each of us today, and may gratitude carry us forward in Colleen's name. Amen. This concludes the service at the chapel, but please feel free to stay and visit if you'd like. Thank you. As long as you